Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It really has been a while since I've done a video, with CSEC, SBAs and all. But today I'm going to do a short video. I want to look at the role of government in an economy. Of course, we know that the government plays a critical role in any economy, and as such we are expected as CSEC students to be aware of the roles that the government play in the economy. All right, we're going to see how much we can cover because we really want to just make this one a short video. So let's get right into it. Here are some responsibilities of government in an economy. The government is responsible to ensure that the country is secure. When we talk about security of the state, we're talking about the fact that the country must be protected from outside or foreign forces, and this protection is provided by the army, the coast guard, etc. Assistance can also be received from other nations. So other countries where the country where our country, let's look at Jamaica in particular, if we are unable to protect ourselves because of whatever reason, we can accept assistance from other country. All right, so that is security of the state. We're going to look at protection and general welfare of the citizens. Yes, the government is responsible. It is the duty of the government to create and amend laws which are beneficial and protect the innocent people of the society. Now, the laws must also be enforced through the courts, hence the reason we have courts in every parish, as well as the police force. And every city or every town has a police force because they're there to protect the general citizens of the country. There should also be provision of social services that will safeguard the welfare of the citizens. Now, the social services that I am talking about include education, health services, utilities, proper road, and telecommunication. These are some of the things that the government is responsible for when we speak to protection and general welfare of the citizens. Let us look at job security. How does the government come in here? Well, governments can help to make sure that the jobs of the people in the country are protected by having legislations which the government workers can be appointed to the government or civil service. So it doesn't make sense for us to just go work every day and not having anything to look forward to in terms of motivation, upward mobility. We're not getting any promotion. We're just going to be here at this level forever. So the government is responsible to have legislation that workers in the government sectors can be appointed. And so government can also enact labor laws to ensure that the workers in both private and public sectors are not treated unfairly or they're not dismissed without a reasonable cause or a just cause. Now, throughout the Caribbean, workers and employers are required to pay national insurance. We call that NIS. This is to make sure that in the event of sickness, injury, or severance, you leave the work, the workers would still receive some payment as long as the necessary contributions were made. So as long as you make the contribution, you see that NIS coming out of the salary, then you are expected to receive this remuneration after the in the event of sickness, injury, or severance. Right? And now, protection of the environment. How does the government protect the environment or ensure that the environment is protected? Well, this can be done by legislations or acts of parliament, we call them. Now, these would make sure that acts such as dumping and other offensive practices illegal, right? So some of these things that are affecting our environment, you throw the garbage in the gully, you just take your garbage and throw it out there on that property because no one lives there. The government is responsible to come up with legislation that makes these practices illegal. There would be fines or other sanctions attached. Hopefully, these will discourage the various forms of pollutions. Now, these laws can also indicate where industries are to be located. So, for example, we're talking about where do you put a factory? Do you put a factory in a residential area? No. So, this is what we're talking about. How else can the government protect the environment? The zoning of certain areas. Now, they tell us where we can have national parks or reserves, and this is done only to protect certain species or plants or animals which may be considered endangered. Right? Quickly jumping into another way they can protect the environment. They can protect the environment through having some seminars, lectures, workshops, any awareness material that can be offered whether in schools, in communities, especially among the young people, showing them what they do today, how it will impact them negatively or those who are to come. So how it affects you now. Now you are young people. How will it affect you when you become adults? How will it affect you when your children become adults? Right? So education is key there. So we can also have different impact. JIS help with this where they keep track of conditions of the environment and they share with you ways that you can keep the environment clean or you can protect the waters, the fisheries, the land, the trees, all of these that help. Now, the government is responsible for that, and that falls under the protection of the environment. Now we want to quickly look at how the government manages the economy. Now it is the government's responsibility to ensure that there is economic growth and development in our country. They must ensure that the standard of living is also improving. What we mean by that? People can live better lives. You have better health care, education, you have accessible education. I mean, there's a school not too far from you that so many students go to school so far that from where they live that it sometimes cause absenteeism issues, punctuality issues, because you live far, you take three transportation. Now we need to ensure, the government needs to ensure that we have schools that are in close proximity to where students are living, a number of students are living. They have good health conditions. When you go to the hospitals, are you able, if they have to admit you, are you able to get a bed to sleep on? Are they able to address your issues? Do they have the required machines to do the test that you need, or do you have to go somewhere else, go pay money to do it? And if you don't have that money, dog, eat your supper. You get what I'm saying? So there, that is where that comes in. The government needs to control, still under management of the economy. They need to control the country's rate of borrowing. We can't put ourselves in so much debt that we have to come back to the same citizens of the country, increase tax in every aspect, just to ensure that this debt is paid. With the government is responsible to ensure that they control the rate of borrowing, so that the national debt is not unmanageable, unbearable. There should also be adequate foreign reserves to cover the cost of imports for a reasonable amount of time. Of course, you know that most of the goods in our country, as much as we produce a lot, we import a lot as well. And so the government needs to ensure that we're able to cover X amount, maybe 6 months of or import bill. We must have that foreign reserves or foreign currency in that foreign reserves to cover the cost of the imports for that period of time. Right? So that is management of the economy. Now we're going to look at maintenance of a safe environment for investors. Now, every country, every economy need investors, whether the investors are local or they're foreign investors. Now, how does the government ensure that the economy is safe for these people? Well, the government need to ensure that businesses are protected, the environment in which the businesses are protected. But they are going to look at physical and economic. If we are to look at the physical and economic, we have to look at the environment in which the business is located. We must ensure that it is safe. We must ensure that the businesses, in our economy, we have so many, in our country, I should say, we have so many businesses that are operating in unsafe areas. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for this. Because there are many businesses that are being extorted. So the physical area need to be safe. Otherwise, it's going to be a deterrent for business people. They won't want to have their business. Other people will close down their businesses, rather close their businesses and just live a peaceful life. And when they close those businesses, a number of people are going to become unemployed. And that is why the government must ensure that there is a safe environment for investors. All right. The businesses should adhere to the laws, the business laws, in terms of the taxation. When you collect the people's taxes, you pay them over. You must comply with the labor laws. So the government have these laws in place where the business peoples will comply with the labor laws, ensure that they have proper working condition for the workers. The workers are safe, working in a safe and proper environment, have good relationships with their workers and their trade unions, and ensure that they are abiding by the disposal law, proper disposal of waste. They're disposing of their waste in a good way. All right. Um, and so we want to look at also not just the environment for investor, but we also want to look at the environment in which the businesses are operating, right? So we look at how we can protect the environment in which the business people are going to have their businesses. The workers going into those places must be safe. The work condition must also be safe, right? Because when this happens, we are going to enjoy improved productivity. People safe to go to work and the working condition is good. You're having harmonious relation with your workers. The worker and employer are having harmonious relationship that is going to improve productivity. All right. Why do we protect the environment? We want to have ensure that there is sustainable development. We don't want development just for this week, this month, this year. We want 10 years down the road. We want to ensure that when our children and our grandchildren are here, they can still development can still take place. We're not just using up the resources in the economy and not replenishing them. All right. I hope this makes sense to you. We looked at the security of the state, how the government ensures that our state, our country is protected. And when our country is protected, the citizens of the country, they are protected. And we say that our country is protected from outside. Outside, we of course we have the army and the coast guard. Internal, we have our police and other security personnel. We looked at protection and general welfare of citizens, and we mentioned some social services that include education, health, utilities, road and telecommunication responsibilities of the government that must be there in place. We also looked at the government's responsibility to create and amend laws. We looked at job security and severance benefits that workers, to feel secure in your job, you must know that this job is able to pay me as long as I am here. I am able to grow in this job so I can be promoted. There is the possibility of me being promoted. That's job security. We looked at severance benefits when we talked about if you contribute to the national insurance scheme in the event that you become sick, you receive an injury, or you just get fired, then you can, or you have to retire. You can call upon that benefit that you receive because you would have made the necessary contribution. We looked at protection of the environment, and we said that the government can do this. Our environment is where we live, the community, the all of the communities in the environment of our country. We said the government can um, create legislations, certain acts that can prevent or deter people from dumping or polluting the environment. We looked at the zoning of specific areas. We said also that government can ensure that there are seminars, lectures, workshops, etc., that will educate and inform people about the environment and how they can play their part in protecting the environment, which includes the land, the air, and the sea. We further looked at management of the economy, and in this section, we looked at how the government ensures that there is economic growth and development in the country, that the standard of living would be improving, because when we have economic growth and development, the standard of living of our people must improve. People, which means people live better lives. They have access to better health care. You're not just working and you can't go to the doctor because the doctor bill is too expensive. It's too expensive to see a doctor, and you don't have health insurance. So you're not getting enough pay to go. That is the responsibility of the government to ensure that if you go to the community health center, you still have good health care receiving there, and it is not in a condition where you just get a little part, it touches the surface and you have to go somewhere else. We look forward to the day when we have those, so we recognize that will lead to improved standard of living, as well as education for all at all level, accessible education at all levels. We look at maintaining a safe environment for investors. Anybody who want to invest in the country should feel that it is safe, whether they're internal or external, which means whether they're from Jamaica or Caribbean or whichever country, they should feel that whether whatever time it is, whether it's a political unrest, it's going to be stable. Whatever it is, it should be safe. It should not affect the investors. All right. Because if there is growth in our economy, the investors are receiving growth, then we are better able to control crime, right? And businesses can protect the environment, physical and economically, where they adhere to business laws, they comply to labor laws, they ensure that the environment is safe for workers and the work conditions are good. They have good relationship with their workers and their workers trade union, and ensure that proper disposal of waste is conducted, right? Those are just some of the things that we looked at when we focused on the role of the government. I hope that you will be able to answer these questions. They're just simple questions that you determine which role of government applies. So when we talk about creation of laws, which role of government, we looked at, remember, just to remind you, we looked at security of the state, protection and general welfare of citizens, job security and severance benefits, protection of the environment, management of the economy, and maintenance of a safe environment for investors. We looked at six of them. Some of these may fall under more than we, well, you could have the same answer for more than one of these, right? So hopefully you can answer this and that you would have learned today. Until next time, that is it. Continue to stick and stay. Continue to like, guys. If this help you and help you in your preparation for exam, don't be afraid to give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to share it with a friend who would like to get this experience as well. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. See you next time.